Ready.
Set.
Gamecast.
Welcome to Ready, Set, Gamecast, a bi-weekly podcast about video games and Arabian Nights. I'm Darrian, and I'm joined by the King of Thieves, Bryce.
Hello, I am taking your goods.
And the genie who finally got his freedom, Teddy.
Hi, I'm free. I can't grant you wishes anymore.
You can. You just
can
don't
I?
have to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I still have like that power. I just don't have. I'm like.
Have you watched Aladdin?
Can we talk about how effed that whole thing is? It pisses me off so much that Aladdin wished to be a prince, and then the entirety of the movie, they act like he wished to look like a prince. Because at the end, the big issue was that, Aladdin needs to wish to be a prince again, so he can't wish the genie free. And it's like, when did he stop being a prince? Jafar took off his outfit, but if you made him a prince, if you gave him a kingdom, he's still a prince. You didn't lose that.
So just Genie did the wishes bad.
Yeah. And then the second wish, Genie decided on his own, which was to save him when he was drowning, and he was drowning and he didn't say shit, and Genie was like, oh no, I heard you. No, that's not a wish either. Fucking the only wish that Aladdin
Genie's a con man, dude.
was a wish to be a prince, and Genie fucked that one up.
It's literally why they did a whole Game of Greggy Show topic about like your genie wishes, and wish number 3 is always gonna be don't fuck with me. Wish number 1, number 2, and then don't fuck with me.
Why? I feel like number 1 should be like don't fuck with me, and then move on to the
Yeah.
others. Because you don't want to have them
I
fucking
wish
with
you
you.
wouldn't fuck with me.
Also, you could have wished to be a prince again, if that was even a thing, and then handed the genie to Jasmine and been like, hey, make 2 wishes and then wish him free. Like, if you're gonna marry this girl, you should probably trust her to free your genie pal.
I mean, not only that, but why is he limited to 3 wishes forever? I could find the lamp again. I could just keep the lamp. What are you gonna do?
Well, no, it's three wishes. It's 3 wishes per person, but you could just pass it around to all your buddies.
Be like, hey, you wished for this.
Yeah.
It's like puff puff pass, but with genies.
But yeah, at the end of the movie, he's free, and then he's still doing magic shit all over the place. Like, he still has his powers.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is very disappointed in me right now. Aladdin is like her favorite Disney movie.
Yeah.
And I don't remember most of it.
I'm excited to see how they handle the remake.
There's a lot of people who are really not excited about it, but I honestly want to go see it so bad.
I was against it during the first few previews, but the latest trailer has me on board. But they better wish, Aladdin needs to wish, I want to look like a prince, or else the fucking movie doesn't make sense. And it's a dumb wish to make, but at least it makes the movie make sense.
This has been your Aladdin hour. The Aladdin portion of every podcast from now on.
Teddy, what have you been playing?
I've been playing video games. Next question. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
I've been playing a good bit of games now that I'm actually in the summer, dude. I can play games again. It's pretty great. I'm kind of so happy about it. The other day, I got to sit down and play Destiny for a while, and I was so happy. I've been playing Halo 5 every now and then. That head-to-head playlist is really good, but I haven't played that in a week, but I played it a bunch last week. I was playing duos with Grunt. That's always fun. Halo 5 duos is a blast. I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. That game is amazing, and I love it, and I want to platinum it. But then I got sucked into Destiny 2, where I am now back, and it's taking my soul again, but I'm really having a good time with it. Me and my friend Eric, who I played D1 with like a ton on PS4, are like got back into it at the same time, dedicated. Like if I'm getting back into it with someone else who is like on a similar footing, then I'll keep going. So I did the raid for the first time. I did Last Wish, which was really good and really fun. And I've been going for Thorn and Last Word, and I have a lot of catching up to do. And now I'm gonna be getting tonight after this. I'm gonna get Wish Ender, which is an exotic bow, and it's been a lot of fun. And today I played a little bit of ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, like 2 weeks ago, like probably after the last podcast or something, or before it. And then I fell off because I was playing a ton of Odyssey. I was really into that, and then now I'm playing Destiny 2. But like, the expansion came out today that I pre-ordered, that I have. So who knows when I'll play that, but I do want to. So, PSA, the Elsewhere expansion is out for ESO on PC right now. Go play it. It's a very good video game.
Dope.
And for those of us who aren't playing ESO, we can be playing games like Bryce does. Bryce, what games do you play?
Hi, I'm Bryce. I have been playing Elite Dangerous a little bit, but honestly, I am sunsetting that time in my life, at least for now. I was doing stuff in it recently, and I was just like, I don't really want to. I'm kind of done with this.
That's fair, I guess.
but on the same note, I haven't found anything else that I crave. The only thing I have found, so I recently got a Android tablet. I love it. It's my baby. And I've been got an Android tablet.
Okay.
I
Just went out, found it in an alleyway.
I found
Like, this
a
is
tablet.
mine now.
I am the king of thieves, and I found it in your locker. So yeah, I've been seeing what games are available on the tablet. I actually did mess around with the Pokemon trading card game online since Detective Pikachu has caused me to buy an amount of Pokemon cards, and each booster pack comes with a code to get cards in the online game. So it's a good playing with the real cards gives you stuff in the online one. So I opened that up to see, maybe I'll try that because I got all these codes. And then I don't really like the the Pokemon trading card game because you're only using one creature at a time. And it seems like way too simple. It's literally like, okay, Pikachu, go out there. Pikachu's got 2 moves. Which one do you want to do? Oh, you don't have enough energy for the good move, so just keep using the bad move till you get enough energy. Oh, Pikachu's down. Put your next one out. And it's like,
Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, I much prefer stuff like Magic of the Gathering and Hearthstone.
I feel like saying you don't like the Pokemon trading card game is a really hot take. I feel like everyone's gonna be like, my childhood.
It's very simple, and I prefer a more complex where you're using multiple creatures that are doing crazy stuff, and Pokemon is just like, go one of you out, and I might mess around with it when I'm on a trip or something. I also did download Hearthstone because it's like, oh well, that's another trading card deal to play, and it's Hearthstone. I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna play Hearthstone, you have to like really get into Hearthstone.
You do.
Yeah, playing it casually is only fun for so long.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much I'll play that.
Bryce, you should play the game Ascension with me. It's not a trading card game, but it's a deck building game, so it's cards, and it's great.
Did you ever buy the board game Humble Bundle?
Yes, that's why I have Ascension.
Oh, okay.
It's actually my favorite board game. It's still a card game, but it's one of my faves. And I was excited to get it digitally again. I've put in a lot of hours.
And then I was watching two of the McElroys play Dungeons and Dragons as part of the yearly like Dungeons and Dragons event they have now. I didn't know it was like a thing, but apparently they have a big like Dungeons and Dragons con kind of. This one was called The Descent. It seems to be that like they'll put out a new Dungeons and Dragons like storybook with like, you know, a campaign and stuff, and to promote that they'll bring in a bunch of like big Dungeons and Dragons people, and they'll like play parts of it and stuff. And I was watching that, and then I was like, oh, is there some Dungeons and Dragons stuff I can get on my tablet? And it turns out there's a Dungeons and Dragons idle game that is available on my tablet, and I've been playing it, and it's a clicker. You click all the stuff. There's some notable things about it. One, you're kind of playing through short adventures that you could probably complete in maybe a few hours, at least each adventure. And then once that ends, you kind of get some stuff from that, and then you start a new adventure, and you're back to the beginning, which is nice because like with a lot of clickers, you're just kind of ramping up and up and up. And then at a certain point, it's like, well, the numbers don't really. It's just more numbers. But with this one, you have a clear goal of like, oh, I'm trying to complete this adventure, and then you're starting over and trying to complete another one. And there's like story stuff with it. It's very minimal, but maybe further in there'll be more. It's fine. It's a clicker. If you're looking for something to do while you're like watching TV or something, it does that. It has some cool stuff. Like there is different characters will have different buffs depending on, and you can lay out your party in different positions, and like there'll be characters that'll heal characters in front of them, and there'll be characters that'll like increase the damage on characters behind them and stuff. So you have to lay out your party to kind of be more efficient about that. But there does seem to be like, oh, this is kind of the best. Once you have everybody's perks turned on and ready, like this is the best way to kind of lay out everybody. Yeah. So it's a game, and it does feature characters from the old Baldur's Gate games that I played as a kid, and it kind of just makes me want to play Baldur's Gate again. And maybe I'll do that. We'll see. That's it.
Do it. You won't.
You guys ever play Baldur's Gate?
No, but I've heard a lot of good things.
Baldur's Gate. Dungeons and Dragons, Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
a BioWare game.
You're saying boulder, like a rock.
Boulder.
Balder.
Balder.
Boulder.
Bald.
Balder.
Boulder.
No.
No.
Boulder.
Is he doing it to fuck with us, though?
He is. I played League of Legends and Dead by Daylight, and I played a little bit more Days Gone, but I don't love it. I'm probably just gonna send it back.
That's most
It's
people's
not
sentiment.
Bad, but it's just once I listened to dual screen audio, Sarah, our guest a few episodes back, her podcast, she had such a negative opinion of it, and she hadn't played it, but it kind of like disenchanted it further for me, because she was just like, it's so overplayed, and I was like, it is.
Hold
it
up.
is an overplayed theme.
How far into, do you know like how far into the game you are, how much you have left?
I'm still really early in the game.
Okay, because I did hear somebody talk about how somebody pushed through kind of the bad early on, and the ending is supposed to be really cool. So I don't know if you're gonna want to push through the bad to get to the good, but apparently the end's cool.
I mean, I can try. I'm just so unmotivated to play it. Like, it's just...
Hey, man, you do what you want.
I'm also being distracted because, like, League is running an event because of their MSI. Their, I think it's mid-season invitational.
We don't really mention chat much, but somebody in chat said they played through Pellegrini in chat said
Not worth it.
He said, I played Days Gone all the way through. It's not worth it.
Perfect.
Okay,
That's all I needed.
we got another opinion though. What do you think you're gonna get if you return it.
I have Super Mario Odyssey on my list because I haven't played that yet, and I wanted to, but I don't want to buy it. There's a couple games on my list, but I think that's my next one.
Okay.
I've also played a decent amount of Ascension, which is a deck building card game. The digital version of the game is not that great. It's got all the cards and it plays fine, but it's got some really interesting sound effects. Like, it sounds like it was made like 10 years ago, and all the sound effects that they used were free to use, like clip art, but sounds. I like
Stock
it because
sounds.
I love the game, but I feel like it's really just odd. And it's inconsistent because, like, some of the cards have sound effects attached to them and some of them don't. And I don't know. I love it, but it is kind of like random and out of left field. But I told one of my friends to play it with me, and he did get it and downloaded it. Huh?
He said no. Did he?
No, he did.
Did he get the Humble Bundle?
He did. I made him use your link.
Aww.
I linked it in my Discord, and I was like, use this link, get this Humble Bundle, play board games with me. And I think like 2 people did.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
So, yeah.
I'm excited to play Love Letter with you.
Yeah, I'm excited to play Ticket to Ride. That's like a really big board game, but I've never played it. Like, it's up there with like
Settlers of Catan?
Settlers of Catan, yeah, where like everybody's played it, but I haven't. So.
Oh, have you played Settlers of Catan?
Yeah.
Teddy,
a lot.
I've actually played that.
Okay. I'm gonna throw a quick story, and then we should probably get into news. But so there's a local con in my town that's really small, and my brother and his friends have a board game group, and they decided to kind of like host a board game tournament at the convention, and it's at my old college as well, and they chose to do a Ticket to Ride tournament, and they chose to require people to sign up beforehand. And it's like, there is like zero traction on this convention. People are not going to sign up beforehand for it. And B, you should have done Settlers of Catan. And my brother's like, no, Ticket to Ride's really easy to learn. And I'm like, no one is going to want to learn a game before participating in a tournament. Everyone has played Settlers of Catan and maybe go like, oh, I'm good at it, or I at least know how to play this. They're not going to want to, So nobody signed up, and they ended up canceling the Ticket to Ride tournament. Shock and awe. But that's it. I just wanted to drag my brother for his bad mistakes on my podcast.
Bad decisions. All right. Well, that takes us into the news. Bryce, take it away.
You're not going to set up a cool thing? Okay, fine.
No, we're not.
Okay, this story comes to us from Polygon. A U.S. senator wants to legislate loot boxes in games targeted at children. Freshman Senator Josh Hawley, a Republican from Missouri, proposed guidelines for new legislation on loot boxes. We've obviously heard, this kind of coming up before, but this one's notable for a little bit of twist to it. And I think every time it kind of comes up, I think it's at least worth going like, oh, another one, because I feel like each one is a sign that maybe we're going to see something come of it, because a lot of people are like, we should do something about this, and then they don't. But maybe this one. Probably not this one. His potential bill, which would be titled the Protecting Children from Abusive Games Act, could apply new consumer protections to games played by minors. So the interesting thing about this is that this is very much trying to protect children. And the bill itself, or at least his proposal, is very bare bones at the moment, but it would prohibit loot boxes and pay-to-win features in video games aimed at minors. Now, the way he's kind of determining how it is aimed at minors, he is using the 1998 Children's Online Privacy Protection Act to determine that. I didn't read the Protection Act, but there seems to be some guidelines there to kind of indicate what is aimed at children. Polygon goes on to say, to define what games are aimed at minors, that fairly broad document points to childlike avatars, kid-friendly music, and in-game hosts, which also happen to be popular television characters. But the senator's proposed bill would apply to games with wider audiences who developers knowingly allow minor players to engage in microtransactions. And he's going to try and prevent games played by minors to have loot crates, and that's about the gist of it. But like, what popular game is not played by kids?
It's very hard to manage.
And also, I mean, let's be honest. The big one that is causing this is, well, I guess too. The one that started this all off was Battlefront. But this is obviously not because of Battlefront. I don't think Battlefront was really that big with the kids. I think the thing that probably that he is causing him to take notice is Fortnite. That is the big kid game with loot crates. But it honestly would not, using these points that Polygon has pointed out, would not fall into that category because it does not have childlike avatars. I mean, they're cartoony, but they're adult characters. The music isn't really kid friendly. I mean, and in-game hosts, which also happen to be popular television characters. No, the Fortnite characters are very customizable. I mean, you can get Avengers in there now, but for the most part, it's just kind of generic-y characters that look cool or whatever.
Yeah.
This would be very good for Club Penguin. Club Penguin would be 100% protected by this, but yeah,
100% a kids game.
Yeah, and with some random adults that would be affected by this, aka Teddy Generis. But what do you guys think of a bill trying to specifically protect children from loot crates? And what do you want to see a bill banning or affecting loot crates from the U.S. government?
No, don't do it.
Absolutely not.
Why?
Because you get into dangerous territory when you start putting the choices for a game in the government or people who do not understand games.
Okay.
Just in general, because they don't really know what's happening. Do you remember for a while that video that was going around about, I think it was just like US senators, and they were like questioning the CEO of Google, and it was really sad. There were legitimately, I think, like 2 or 3 of the questions were like, why is this happening on my iPhone? And he's like, that's a different company. We don't own iPhone. I'm sorry. Like, they were asking all of these incredibly, like, shockingly dumb technological questions that had barely anything to do with Google a lot of the time. Like, I do not want them handling video games.
Okay. Do you think loot crates are a good thing?
Depends. But most of the time, no. Okay.
Do you think that the game industry is going to self-regulate and without the U.S. government or governments in general, putting stuff in place to prevent them from, doing scummy loot crate stuff, do you think they're going to change?
I think they slowly have over, like, in general, but I don't think they're going to change to the way that this bill would want, no. But I think they are changing to the audience.
Do you think... I think some companies are, when they... Obviously, Battlefront is because they got their ass handed to them because of it and honestly started this whole thing. But there's millions of companies and games that have, loot crates that are, very prevalent, and many game-affecting loot crates. Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, their entire... Your strength and stuff is entirely based on loot crates, and I can't remember which country. There was a country that banned loot crates, and instead of
shit, what was it?
Yeah, it was in Europe. I know that much, but in response to that, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross just shut down the game there.
Yeah.
They are so locked into pay to win.
The country was Belgium.
Okay, yep, Belgium.
Knew it started with a B.
They are so locked into pay to win as their entire game that if you say no, you can't do that, they just shut it down. And the only way that that's going to change is if enough of the countries do that. If they took away the US market, they would probably have to change the way things work. But there are plenty of pay to win games, and I mean, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross would probably fall under this category. It's got popular television characters, childlike avatars. That one would fall onto it, even though I would say probably it's mostly adults playing it, because it's, Kingdom Hearts franchise is way bigger with adults. And I think this guy specifically trying to target children might increase the chance that his bill passes, because everybody's like, think of the children. But I think that loot crates in general should be legislated, because the game industry is not going to change unless as a whole.
That's a hot take.
As a whole, there will be select companies that will change because things happen that have hurt them. EA has been shy on loot crates because of the bad stuff that they did, but across the games industry, there is a lot of bad loot crate stuff happening.
Still don't think it requires legislation in any way, shape, or form. That's way too brash.
I don't think it's going to get better unless...
Okay. Like, what's the worst that happens overall? I do agree that there are, like, overall... I think the most harmful aspect of loot boxes, right, in any capacity, is if a kid, like, gets their parents' credit card number and then starts putting them in. But even then, it's not even that, right? Because they can figure that out and parents can watch that and whatnot, right? But it's not even just that. It's the like, kind of ingraining the idea. It's very much like a slot machine.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much like it has a little animation. Sometimes it scrolls past, like, the item that you want, and like, I didn't get it this time, maybe next time, right? It's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But even that, I'm like, is that dangerous enough to get the government involved? No, I don't think so.
Well, here's the thing. The government bans loot crates. Is that a bad thing?
Yes, absolutely.
Why? Why would it be?
Because loot crates don't have to be bad, first of all. They can be implemented in a way that is totally fine. I think Overwatch is definitely closer to an okay thing, right? Like, it's not pay to win. It's all cosmetics. And honestly, I think if Overwatch balanced it a little bit more, where you, like, got more of them more often, and like there are some things that, and you could buy certain things that you want, and just not the whole coin system, but like there are ways to do them okay. Just banning loot crates, loot boxes all over, that's also when you start to get into weird territory where like, is this a loot box, is this not a loot box? The government decides, the government who doesn't know enough about video games. I think that's a bad idea. Personally,
I personally would like to see all loot crates gone, and would prefer that it go, this is a really cool skin in Overwatch, I'll buy that skin. Instead, they're very much
I agree. For the most part, I would definitely like all things to have a storefront where I can get what I want, right?
Yes.
But like, the government shouldn't be involved to make that happen.
I don't think it's going to change unless there's literally laws to prevent
I agree with Teddy.
It's not too necessary or harmful of a thing that I think that such a drastic measure like a bill should be in place.
No.
Personally, I don't love them. You know what I mean? But like, it's not enough for that.
I mean, people shouldn't be so predatory and be aiming their sights at children, but I mean, there are plenty of like free-to-play games that exclusively use loot boxes for their microtransactions that would need to completely rework their entire system to be sustainable.
Good.
And at that point, it may or may not be sustainable. If they have to rework everything, there could be games that just mass disappear because it's not possible for them to rework their entire system.
This is our topic of the show.
Yeah.
This is now our topic of
It
the
very
show.
much could be, but if the entire fun of their game requires,
it's not the entire fun. It's the most like way that they make money.
Income,
it's their revenue.
Yeah.
If that requires
because
them
it's
to
an
do loot
optional
crates,
thing.
then. But okay, there's very much the kids are very much likely to fall prey to loot boxes and stuff because it's not their money. They don't really have a concept of money. But it also, adults are very likely to fall prey to this as well because it can create addictive behavior because of
the government's problem. You know what I mean? That's on them.
Gambling addictions are things. That's already a thing. It's not that they're adding or taking away from it just by existing. It's just another form of a problem that's already there.
Teddy, does the government require that you wear a seatbelt?
They do, technically.
Okay. Is it your problem if you don't wear a seatbelt and get in? Okay, but
I think they are very different. I think these are very different situations.
Yeah, that's not really a good comparison.
The government can do stuff.
How I waste my money should not be decided by the government.
They definitely can. It's definitely a thing that they can do.
I think the government
in this situation,
the role of government serves a purpose to help people, and yes, there are many senators that I would not trust at all to try and do this, but
all of them.
but there are.
But this guy whose name I couldn't even pronounce when I talked about who was introducing it, I trust this guy.
No, I'm saying that it can be done, and I don't think we should be so against the government trying to have a role in this.
I don't think that it's necessary.
Okay.
It's okay. We can agree to disagree.
Yeah,
but I do see where you're coming from, but personally, I just don't trust it or think that it's
because say that they pass it, where does it go from there? The amount of things that they're gonna start nitpicking and destroying because they were able to get this to go through is limitless.
No, it seems like a slippery slope.
What? Why would it be limitless?
But it does seem like a slippery slope.
It would depend on how the bill is written, and it would have to have clear guidelines on what is what.
Right, I'm saying future bills being introduced afterward because this one passes.
If we can affect this certain industry and this art here, why not over here? Why not in movies, TV, blah, blah, blah. Different aspects of games.
We have the rating system, which is good because...
Which was created to prevent the government from stepping in and touching it.
wasn't that out of fear, like the government was going to, so they just the ESRB like did it themselves. Bunny was saying that earlier about this, is that fear of like government interaction would force publishers to like change themselves.
Yeah, I think
which is very possible.
I think it changes the worst offenders, but I think ones that flying under the radar are gonna stay the way they are. And you guys are worried about governments fucking up. I'm worried about the games industry as a whole not being willing to step up and regulate themselves as a whole, and that's where we're sitting. But
I also just I don't know. It's very much like, if they don't though, then like, okay, it's not great. Okay, so it's not the end of the world.
So they regulate loot boxes. So instead of using loot boxes to lure kids in, they find some other terrible predatory pay-to-win way to target kids. And then that gets a bill introduced to try to stop it. And so slowly but surely, they start just tearing apart ways for free-to-play games. And
hold up.
You can just buy all the best weapons directly instead of by luck.
Hold up, Darrian. You're against the concept of they do a bad thing, the government steps up and stops the bad thing, and then they do a new bad thing, and then the government stops that too. So you're against the government stopping bad things.
I'm just saying, like, it's the introduction to things getting worse, not better. Like, it's not going to be better for people to be able to just straight out purchase bullshit, like, because loot crates are being targeted, like. I feel like it's not going to fix anything. It's just going to make things worse.
I don't know.
It's going to change the bad to a different bad.
That's a possible outcome.
They would have to invent a new bad, and that would...
Which is possible. Which is with publishers like them, how much they want money, because, you know, that's what they do. They're trying to get money. Then that's very possible.
Yeah, I don't know. The way the games industry was, like, before loot crates came around, people were making money and there was a different way to do stuff, and you just bought skins and stuff and DLC and it was fine. But we should move on.
They weren't making as much money. That's why they are in love with this system.
Yeah, because it's a way to get people addicted and to spend more money than they would have before. And in general, I think is a bad system for the gamers and for everybody but the game companies who are making money off of it.
I think for the most part, I agree with that.
But we should really move on. I think everybody has said their piece about this.
The next news story is one that I'm covering, and I wish we spent the amount of time that we did on the last one on this one, because this is easily the most important one fucking in a long time. The article is called Sony and Microsoft to Explore Strategic Partnership, and it is on news.microsoft.com. Sony Corporation and Microsoft Corporation announced on Thursday that the two companies will partner on new innovations to enhance customer experiences in their direct-to-consumer entertainment platforms and AI solutions. So they go on, the picture is, oh god, how am I going to say it? It's a Japanese name. Kenichiro Yoshida, President and CEO of Sony Corporations, and, oh, this one's even worse. Oh, I don't know about this one.
Ooh.
Satya Nadella.
Nadella, sure. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, right? It's literally a picture of them, like, shaking hands, like, smiling at the camera, shaking hands. When this news came out, I was freaking out. They go on, and there's a bunch of quotes in here about specifically talking about AI and cloud gaming. And I remember seeing a rumor earlier this week about how, like, Nintendo is very rumored to be joining in on this as well, which would be crazy. But for now, it's just Sony and Microsoft. But, like, what if they combine Game Pass and PlayStation Now because they're saying F you Google Stadia? That is immediately where my brain went. I was like, what if, dude? What if?
I feel like that's a hop, a skip, and a jump, but that would be super cool.
That's totally within the realms of what this is saying. They are collaborating and combining their cloud gaming technology.
Yeah, well, Game Pass isn't cloud.
It can be. You can stream games through Game Pass.
Is it? Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I've never actually done it, but I remember when I first started, you could either download or stream. I'm pretty sure.
Can we get confirmation? ReadySetGamecast.com/you're wrong.
Or just in the chat right now.
We
in
don't
either of the chats.
We don't have that. We don't have that URL. Don't try it.
But yeah, this is pretty crazy. We will have to see what more happens. The end of the article says, going forward, the two companies will share additional information when available. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
To see what that is.
I saw the Stadia thing and was like, probably not gonna, be a big deal. But apparently Sony and Microsoft saw it and were like, we need to do something. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, this immediately read to me of them being like, okay, well, Stadia, we're doing this to like counter you, and it is a big move if they do what they could with it. It's huge.
Yeah, Microsoft's got the servers. Sony, I don't think could match Stadia. They have PlayStation Now, but it doesn't have the server coverage that Google
Surprisingly
does.
enough, it's very interesting. The PlayStation Now apparently is like significantly more financially successful than Game Pass, which is shocking. But like almost every like report is that like PS Now is doing way better, which is weird because like people forget about it. But yeah, the article was talking about how mostly they're going to be relying on like Microsoft's Azure, I don't know how to say it, technology, and that's their cloud stuff. So super interesting. You know what else was interesting, Darrian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They released a new teaser trailer for Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Pretty interesting. Tell me about it.
It's really interesting.
Hell yeah. It was great.
I mean, long story short, they released a new teaser trailer just to show that, yeah, they're still working on
It
it.
was not
It was in the
dead.
state of play. It was in the state of play that they did, which also, real quick, Monster Hunter Iceborne, that's a huge DLC if you play Monster Hunter. Go look that up.
Also, real quick, Teddy, we should do this from now on. Scale of 1 to 10, how did you feel about the recent state of play?
I liked it. It was cool. It was like, I think this one was definitely more hyped because it ended with this. It started with Monster Hunter and ended with Final Fantasy VII. So I don't know, 7.
See, I felt the exact opposite way. I was way more hyped about the one because
What even was in the first one?
it was a lot of VR stuff, and they did show off Concrete Genie, which looks really cool.
That does look cool. I mean, this brought the big guns.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if we mentioned it. I don't know if it happened in the last few weeks. We might have just missed it off of the news. But like Ghost Recon Breakpoint, I think is what it's called. Let me look it up. But they unveiled the new Ghost Recon.
Oh yeah,
That's the thing.
I remember. Hearing
John
about that.
Bernthal's in it. It looks real cool. It looks very basically real quick. It looks very like survival-y. Like you get shot and you like your accuracy gets worse and you start to like stumble and you have to like have your friend patch you up. It's like very kind of survival-y. And apparently they're going to have a raid in it, which is interesting. And the only footage we saw of the raid is like inside a volcano. So it looks very, very neat. Looks more like Wildlands, like focused on the 4-player co-op. So I'm interested in that.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I hear that.
It was interesting, the state of play. I liked it.
I don't know. Other than Final Fantasy VII, that was the only one that I came out of that one caring about.
I mean, the first one was really good if you have VR. I didn't have VR.
Well, see, the first one I have VR on PC, but not on PS4, and I was looking at that first state of play and going like, maybe it's time for me to get a PlayStation VR headset. Though I'm curious if the PlayStation 5 is going to have a new headset, because they said they're going to support the current one, but they might put out a new model as well. If I'm going to wait for the PlayStation 5 and see what happens then and decide if I'm going to get a PlayStation VR headset.
The first state of play had it started off with Iron Man VR, which looked cool. CTR, Crash Team Racing, Nitro fueled or whatever. No Man's Sky VR.
Oh yeah, I was stoked about
this.
that.
This like, what was this one? Ready Set Heroes. Oh, this was the
video game based
little,
on our
like,
podcast.
No, this was like the 4-player like dungeon crawling co-op like versus game. That actually looked kind of cool.
Yeah.
Blood and Truth for VR for May 28th. Next wave of games for VR, just more VR. Sci-fi adventure game Observation Flips. I don't even remember this one. Observation flips a perspective on sci-fi adventure.
Yeah,
out on PS4 this May.
You play as the space station. And there's a girl that you have to help, and she's like, hey, can you do this? And you are the space station. You have to like do stuff for her.
And then Five Nights at Freddy's VR, Concrete Genie, new Days Gone trailer, and then a new Mortal Kombat 11 trailer. So like out of all that, for me personally, if I were to get VR, Iron Man VR is cool, but like I'm not. The Ready Set Heroes look cool. And the Mortal Kombat trailer and the Concrete Genie trailer for me personally.
I don't know, but most of those piqued my interest. Or that I think that trailer what made me want to play Mortal Kombat. I didn't play it, but like cool it made me want to.
Yeah, they've had really good trailers.
But I feel like this one showed off a lot of DLC and stuff. If you like have. Or like it showed off Final Fantasy. And it's like, oh, cool, it's still alive and it looks good. But that game is so long off that I was like, oh. So I'm giving this one a 4.
Wow. This one started with Monster Hunter Iceborne. They revealed a Predator game, Predator Hunting Grounds, which I am pretty sure. Let me look this up. Oh, this is the team that did Friday the 13th. So I'm pretty sure it's that same kind of style of gameplay where it's like one versus whatever. And then,
yikes!
What are you against?
That was a bad game.
Oh, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Oh, it seems like
that
Dead
is the
by
general
Daylight.
sentiment. Greg Miller just really likes it.
Oh,
it's not.
It's extremely buggy and glitchy.
Oh, okay.
It's very buggy. It's very bad. It's incredibly asymmetrical, even though like it's supposed to be an asymmetrical horror game, but it's not supposed to be impossible for the people who are trying to escape, but it sure seems like it is. I probably put like 15 hours in and I couldn't win a match at all.
Yeah.
But as Jason, I had no problem going and just absolutely murdering everybody.
Real quick. Did you try Getting Good?
Fucking got her, dude. And then
Dead by Daylight is a game that I play a lot, and it's still exponentially better balanced than Friday the 13th was. And the timing of Friday the 13th just like wasn't great for them because Dead by Daylight was already established and was, not a great game at the time. Still not exactly like perfect, but like still had a better concept. Like Friday the 13th is bad, and they should feel bad.
They showed off Medieval, the Medieval remake, Final Fantasy VII. They didn't. Oh wait, this is not in order. Final Fantasy VII. This Survive. Oh, this is the flying squirrel game.
Oh yeah, I saw that and I was like,
yeah,
okay.
Weird but cool. And then River Bond, which was a game that was literally like all the different like indie heroes. It was like Shovel Knight and what were some more? I can't remember, but it was like a bunch of characters from like indie games. And then what was the last? And then Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So literally almost all of those I'm definitely a lot more interested in than the other one.
Predator, I've heard some more information about Predator and it kind of makes me interested, but asymmetrical games are only cool if you've got like friends to play with. The squirrel game was like, okay, that's fine. I don't like the viewing angle of it feels like it'll make me motion sick. I haven't gotten motion sick from a game for a while. I've seen Doom, and I feel like that one would for sure make me motion sick for how quick everything is. The new Doom.
Fast. Yeah.
But just I think like certain ways games are presented can make me motion sick.
Yeah. Motion sickness, man, it'll make you real stressful. You know what I mean? And you know what else is stressful? This Riot Games news.
Okay.
And you should tell us about it, Bryce.
Oh, it's me? Oh, okay. I forgot I was assigned this one. Okay, so we talked about last week that Riot Games employees were walking out of doing a walkout to protest the arbitration clause that Riot was forcing people to have, and then Riot turned around and said, "Too bad," basically. Here is the quote that we have for them. Ultimately, given the complexities of ongoing litigation, we will not change our employee agreements while in active litigation, Riot said in a statement released after the town hall with the workers at its Los Angeles headquarters. We know not everyone agrees with this decision, but we also know everyone does want Riot to continue to improve. The company plans to create a council on diversity and inclusion, and it has invited a diverse group of employees to take part in reviewing aspects of its code of conduct.
So I actually read this earlier in the week, and I totally forgot that I did. But they go on to talk about the fact that they go on to stress it, but they seem to be very open, and I think they said that they are going to change the policy after all of the ongoing litigations are like complete. But for now, the moment, like, they have 5 different cases against them right now from different women. So after, I think they said that after that they can change, they're going to change it, but for now, while these are going on, they're not doing it.
But think, that's preventing these women from being able to, get it, sue without arbitration. And also, it's going to make someone it's going to make it take longer for them to switch their policy if somebody else sues, or maybe they're going to be pressured to not sue so that they can, for the clause to go up. And it's just them saying, "Oh, we might do it," which, people say things. And like, I think, I don't like this stance, and
yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, this is pretty bad for Riot workers, and I guess we'll see if they continue to push, and hopefully they do, and Riot switches policy, because this is not good for anybody who's in this situation. If you have a sexual harassment thing right now, you're going to have to go, well, they have not changed their policy, so I'm forced to use arbitration. And do I even report this? Do I even try? Because then that's just gonna be another case, and then they're not going to switch the policy like they say they will, and it kind of screws a lot of people, and I'm not a fan. But that's about it. They didn't. The walkout wasn't enough to change the policy.
Yeah. Definitely not good. You know what else is not good? The Epic Game Store sometimes. Let me tell you what.
Darrian's the best host.
Hey, man, I'm keeping these alive. I'm keeping them going.
Man, eat my whole dick.
All of it? Wow. Okay, so the Epic Game Store had a big sale where there were like percentage discounts, and then it was like overall $10 off every game that was $15 or more. And a game, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, which is published by Paradox, which isn't even out. The pre-order was there. Disappeared off the store when the sale happened because they did not want to be a part of the sale. But like, it's very weird. And then, let's see. The quote from an Epic rep said, "If a developer or publisher chooses to not participate in our sales, we will honor that decision. Paradox Interactive has chosen to not participate in the Epic mega sale, and the game has been temporarily removed from sale. If you purchase the game during the period when the discount did apply at the time of checkout, Epic will honor that price." So, like, it's weird, though, that Epic is so kind of far behind that you can't just have a game that's not on sale it has to go off of the store completely. Like, it can't just, during a big sale, it can't just sit at the regular price. It just has to disappear from the store.
No, I find it really weird. The weird part about this is that, like, Epic, I guess, put all the games on sale without talking to the publishers, and then the publisher found out and was like, no?
Yeah, no, we don't want this on sale.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's they have some agreements or stuff with other groups or something that maybe physical sales or something that would prevent them from being on sale right now.
Yeah,
but it's weird. It's weird. Epic's making decisions without talking to the publishers.
Yeah, there was another weird kind of problem as well mentioned in this article where Hades, what's the name of that publisher? Supergiant publishes Hades, and that was like the same developer who's made Bastion and Pyre and Transistor. The one game from the Epic Game Store that I'm like, I actually really want to play that. They raised their price to account for the sale, basically. And they said previously the problem is that they said they came out and were like, oh, we were going to raise the price anyways. We added enough features. We felt like this is like the price of the game. This is what it's worth. But they did it at the time of the sale. And they also had previously said to their audience on Twitter that if they were going to raise the sale, they would tell people beforehand, and they didn't.
We got a correction from the future. He says Supergiant develops it, not publishes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know who publishes it.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm pretty sure
they develop it. Yeah, Supergiant's the developer.
Sure
but yeah, no, and he also said that was a fuck up on Supergiant, not Epic. Yeah, no, for sure. That's what I'm saying, yeah. The other one was Epic. This right here is Supergiant, with very... Maybe they just meant it as bad timing, or maybe they meant it nefariously. Who knows? But not great. But I believe that they ended up, let me see. I think they ended up bringing it back down for the sale and are going to raise it and then raised it afterwards. I think that, yeah, Supergiant corrected it. Its base price, yeah. I think they corrected it during the sale, and then afterwards they raised it.
Yeah, Supergiant has been putting out big updates for Hades through its early access period, adding new gods and new weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe they were like, well, we added a lot of content, we're gonna raise the price, and not as a sale thing.
Yeah, they also didn't do it nefariously if they then corrected it. So it was very bad timing. Right now you can get it for like $10, and then after the sale it's going to be $25. So
I mean, you could do something nefariously and then get caught on it, and then be like, oh yeah, let's fix it. That's happened before, but
yeah. All sorts of epic games drama.
A lot of crazy games coming out, and also here's another one, the Minecraft Earth game. We finally have a name. We talked about this a little bit on the last podcast because they dropped the teaser, and now we can tell you what it is. It's Minecraft Earth. It's a new Minecraft AR game, and I would like 20 points assigned to me for basically saying what it should be, and basically it is this.
It looks very cool, honestly.
Teddy, I'm gonna give you 20 points.
Aww,
thank you.
So they are bringing in Pokemon Go stuff to collect resources in the form of tappables, where basically you'll see stuff in your area, and you just tap on them, and then you can have, whatever, or grass brick, or all the different Minecraft stuff. And then with that stuff, you will be able to build out a thing with that. You could build a castle or whatever, and you can like do this in your house, and it'll be a little castle that you're like building out. and then you could go once you've built it out real cool and nice, then you can go to a park and like lay it down, and then it'll get big, and then everybody can like play in it and stuff. There also have some combat stuff where there will be monsters and stuff. Like if you Polygon's article from Colin Campbell talked about how he could have built a thing and then populate it with zombies, so that when he laid it down for his friends to explore, they go into a room and now they're fighting off the zombies and stuff. So there's, I guess they showed off in different like gameplay mechanics. You've got the tappables, which is getting the resources. You've got adventures, which is like these virtual play areas, which will be available at different locations and alternate through probably like parks and stuff. We'll have them. You've got the build plates, which are things that you can build on and then take them wherever. You've got exploration, which is exploring, the Minecraft world and stuff. And then you've got sharing. They also put, and that's, letting others play with your stuff. They did put out a trailer for it, and it looks really cool. There's two things I want to make note of with this. I think this really, really depends on how good their AR is, because they show in the trailer like a girl putting a Minecraft spire on top of her house. And if that like works well, if it can register real world objects and work that way for everybody, so that spire always looks like it's on the house for everybody and it's not like weird and off for some people, it's going to be great. I don't think they're probably going to nail it. There's a lot of different phones. Maybe newer phones will probably have it work well, but older phones don't have as good a AR stuff as new ones. And two, I think they're kind of laying the groundwork for an AR headset, because holding up your phone to look at everything is like fine. It's not really great, but I'm like, maybe they're having them build out a Minecraft AR world, so when they put out the HoloLens or whatever AR headset they go with, and it's probably gonna be the HoloLens, but it's probably called something different, or maybe it is called HoloLens, I don't know. Then you'll be able to wear it and look around, and your world's gonna be populated with these Minecraft structures that people have built on their phones, and it'll be way more like feel like you're in it, rather than you holding up your phone and just going, oh, there's a creeper. So I think it's gonna be cool. I think that we're seeing a lot of AR games are just like, we're gonna do Pokemon but with Digimon. But this is a really cool use of AR, and I'm for sure gonna be trying it out, and we'll see how that works. They do have a sign up page for their closed beta, so you should sign up there if you're interested.
I didn't actually see that.
Well, now you do, and you also get a free skin in Minecraft for it. With it. So get on that, peeps. Well, that's the news.
That is the news.
That is the news. So next we're going to talk about our Patreon producers. Go for it, Bryce.
Last Geek has a Patreon to help make great content like this podcast. For the low price of $5 a month, you can be a Patreon producer of Ready Set Gamecast. And along with that job title that you can put on your resume, no one can stop you.
Wait.
Oh, wow. I don't really know
Hold
why
on.
you would do such a thing, but I mean, you could, I guess.
Hey, if people didn't know too much about it, seeing producer on a resume would look kind of impressive.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah,
That's true.
except if you're giving us money, you shouldn't put it on your resume that it's a job because we are not compensating you. Except by saying your name, I guess.
McDonald's customer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you can do it. Somebody do it. Somebody do it and tell us how it
Get
went.
back to us.
I expect to see results.
Let us know when you get hired running the new Game of Thrones show, because you are a producer. But along with that great resume, you also get a shout out on each and every episode of Ready Set Gamecast. I would like to take a moment. Can we all take a moment and just put yourself in the mental space of gratitude, and let's thank Aaron C. and Dragons Lucas for their producing of the Patreon. Thank you for supporting the show.
Gratitude.
Thanks, guys. All right, time for topic of the show.
We already had a meeting news, so let's go quick over the topic of the show. Do you think E3 still serves a purpose with Nintendo and PlayStation moving to direct style marketing, and E3 opening their doors to fans, making it closer to a PAX than to the media only show that it used to be?
Yes.
Why?
It does.
Why?
Because I think it's been such an institution. It is going to take a while for E3 to, if it ever does die, if it ever does fully slow down, and there's not like a lot, like, I don't know, the games that were there last year, right, are cut into like a quarter or even less, right? If that is ever to be the case, it is going to be a slow decline over years and years. It's not just going to be like 1 year. Oh. And this year, PlayStation is not there, which is huge, but Xbox is still there, Nintendo's still there, PC stuff is still there. It's still E3. You're still going to see games that will come to the PlayStation, like on the showroom floor and stuff, and at the Xbox conference.
Do you think Microsoft will be at the next E3?
Yeah, I do.
I think PlayStation will go back too.
You do?
Yeah, I
They
think
just
it's
have
very
nothing
possible.
to show right now. They're in the middle of releasing a new, or like working on a new console.
All their first party games like came out in the last year or two.
Yeah.
Like all the studios are working.
I think they're going to keep testing out the directs, and if they keep seeing success from that, they probably will not. I will bet $5 that PlayStation's not at the next E3.
Nintendo's still going, right?
Well, no, they will be doing their direct. I don't think they have.
They're always on the showroom floor. Nintendo always has a big booth, and in the last few years they've usually themed it around the one big game. So this year it's probably going to be Pokemon. It was like Breath of the Wild at one point. I think the next year was Odyssey. Yeah.
That sounds right.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I just feel like E3 is reserved for like the mind-blowing announcements, right? Like having the directs and stuff is cool for like keeping people informed with like the month-to-month basis, but like E3 is where people anticipate seeing something that, you know, is surprising or that they've been waiting for, or, you know, I feel like E3 just is important for those huge announcements. And even if they're not like directly, like if PlayStation's not going to be there, I bet around that same time they're gonna have something to drop.
We know that. I'm pretty sure we know they're having a state of play around that time, or do we just know about Nintendo?
I am pretty sure they said they are not having a state of play around E3.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure they came out and said that.
then I guess I'm just thinking of Nintendo saying that they've got one coming.
That might be old. That maybe they changed their mind. Who knows?
Yeah,
Because like the spacing of the state of plays there was one in March, at the end of March, and then there was one a few weeks ago at like the beginning of May. So like it's not too out of the question.
I mean, is it for a game company? Is it really that good to make an announcement? Obviously, you get wrapped up in the big hype if you're making an announcement at E3, but you also get washed out in the hype of like somebody announces something at the beginning of E3, by the end of it, you completely forgot that announcement happened because so many other announcements.
That's not true.
It depends on the size of it, but there's so many announcements. There's so much that you don't remember all the stuff, and unless you are real big into it. But if you make an announcement in like December or I don't know, another month, March, that's a month. People are going to remember that for the whole week because
that is that has definitely been the case over the last few years. More games have started to release their own kind of news and whatnot in their own ecosystems and with their own things, right? Like Destiny for a long time would put their big expansion or their kind of like, well, yeah, it was usually their big expansion coming in the fall. They would put that at E3, like show off like this is a thing that's coming out. But then I can't remember when it was the first time, but a year or two ago, they showed off, well, first of all, they had their Destiny 2 reveal event. They didn't do it at E3. They didn't reveal D2 at E3. They had they did what you're saying. They took the marketing cycle for like a random week in like, oh man, when was, I think it was early in the year where they were like, here's the trailer. Gameplay's like, or another trailer dropping here. It was like teaser trailer at the end of the week, and then like I think when that trailer dropped is when the pre-orders dropped, and then like they had a whole reveal event that they hyped up and that they hosted themselves. So like games do this now where they try to control the news cycle, because if you do come out on a random like May 8th, right? I'm looking at my calendar. It was 2 Wednesdays ago, right? Then, like, most likely, you're going to have the cycle for that day or for at least a few days, right? But E3 is so big that they're definitely, I mean, there's a advantage for why Sony used to go last. Like, or last in perspective. Nintendo would go the next day. But, like, usually Sony was the big thing, like, Monday night, I think it was, right? So, like, and that usually ended up being the thing kind of on people's minds because it was the last kind of thing. So there is some value to what you're saying for sure. But E3 is so big that people do pay attention. Like everybody pays attention and like they pick out the things that they loved.
Everybody's waiting for it. Everybody's excited for it.
Like, even though
watching.
a lot of things are happening at once, I don't think they lose a lot of attention that they would get from those people who would be interested because they're paying attention.
Well, I think that E3 is changing, like their changes to open up to the public has changed the convention and what that means a lot. And it's, like I said, it's almost like a PAX now, and couldn't PlayStation make a big announcement at PAX West, which is like 2 months after, and then the same, have it playable on the show floor, and even like, yeah, and then you'd be more in the face of the gamers
but you're not with the media. Like E3 is where people show up, and now it's where the media shows up and fans.
Well, no, because I feel like
the best of both worlds.
I feel like media stopped going as much, and so that they had to bring fans in to stay afloat. And
sure,
now
like,
it's kind of a weird.
It's still a lot of media.
Yeah, it's still supposed to be the big one, but I feel like it's losing that, and
sure,
I don't know.
But it still is. And I think I don't know. I've heard this narrative for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
E3's dying. E3's dying. E3's dying. And it's like maybe, but like slowly.
Yeah,
it's gonna take some time.
I think it's probably gonna take some time, but I feel like it's going through an identity crisis, and I feel like the way game companies present media or present their stuff is going through the same identity crisis, and we're going to see some weird stuff with that happen because, you know, there's Nintendo and Sony are not going to have a press conference, and maybe Microsoft is going to start doing Microsoft Directs, and
well, I
we'll
mean,
see.
they have their Inside Xbox that they do regularly.
Yeah,
That's definitely a thing.
It's not as big as.
No, they do make announcements, but it's not as big, I don't think.
But E3 is definitely still cool, and I might consider going next year.
Also, Bunny makes a good point. He's like, last 3 or 4 years, I remember worrying if it was going to die when I was in middle school or high school over 10 years ago. Like, there was a time when E3 did kind of die, and this is definitely like been going on for a long time. I don't know if it ever will fully die.
There was some low points where they ended up in like a smaller convention place and moved around for a bit. But I think their decision to open it up to fans is kind of the biggest change that E3 has ever had. I went to E3 once. It was dope as shit.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not know that?
I went the year that the 3DS was announced. I remember the Nintendo had a big like area up top, and I got an appointment. They brought you up like 4 or 5 at a time, and then they had all these DSs all around the stage, and then there was a girl standing behind each one, and you could like, you know, mess with it and stuff. And then, but I was just like, I kind of like looked at them and kind of like, oh, okay, but it was so awkward because there was like a girl just standing there watching me the entire time, and I'm like, okay, I get it, it looks cool. But yeah,
Weird.
I don't know. E3 is definitely, at least has been, a weird spectacle focused show that no other convention or thing has matched. But
yeah.
Well, that's the topic of the show.
That's it.
For the whole show, or?
No, I don't think so. I think we got one more section to do, and I'm pretty sure.
I think we do, don't we, Darrian?
Teddy, read the questions.
Yeah.
Yo, do you want to be a part of the show? Go to readysetgamecast.com/submit to submit a question, comment, or your favorite roller coaster for us to read on the show. So Fire Turtle, aka Aaron, the editor of the show, calling her out. She said, don't feel bad, Teddy. I don't know what YIF means either regarding the furry question in the last episode. I still don't know what that means. I don't even really remember the question, but I do I remember in general the question, but like not
the
what it
term
was really.
YIF is sometimes used to indicate sexual activity or sexual material within the furry fandom.
Oh, so it's just, that's very broad, but okay.
It's furry sex.
All right. The more you know.
Young, incredibly fuckable furry.
Anyways, she also said in the last episode when you talked about Epic stopping exclusives, if Steam matched their profit percentages to developers, I was thinking it actually is a great PR strategy. People see how Epic is pushing for developers to get a better cut and will want to support them over Steam, which will help Epic in the long run, even though they may stop exclusives. People want to support them over Steam because they want what's best for the developers, even though Steam may have the same games. Thoughts? Absolutely. There's no way like that. There's no way you can like lose by saying that. That quote is going to bring you good. Will. Don't you guys agree?
I agree.
My conscience, or one of your consciences, I don't know. It just says your conscience. Maybe it's all of our conscience.
Yeah, it's earned by your conscience.
It's probably mine.
Or their name is your conscience.
It says, which Smash Bros. Ultimate character is the more fuckable?
Yeah.
It doesn't say. It doesn't even say most. It just says more fuckable. More fuckable than what? Oh God.
Zero Suit Samus.
Let me see. We're gonna
Kirby.
go with your boy. Where is he? Hold on. I know what he looks like, but I can't. King K. Rool. I don't know. Zelda, sure. I don't know. Zero Suit Samus is the correct answer, actually.
Palutena?
Bryce is holding up
Strife?
a cloud.
Absolutely.
A cloud statue.
Cloud Strife is the more fuckable.
Or Rob the Robot.
Player 2.
Yeah, I can get down with fucking robots.
What about Pac-Man? He's gonna be Anyways.
I know I've talked about role-playing Wheatley from Portal 2 and Smut before, right? Is that something you've never talked about on this podcast?
I'm pretty sure you've said that you found his voice real sexy and stuff. I don't know if there was role-playing involved.
Yeah, I don't think that was...
If you scroll through my Tumblr page, like, way deep in like 5 years ago.
Oh my god.
I definitely used to roleplay Wheatley from Portal 2, and it was...
What does that even...
Definitely NSFW.
Okay.
Mean. Anyways, Teddy's Good Twin says... This is funny. He says, why is Game of Thrones decline? The greatest train wreck of television history. Also, will we ever get a good Game of Thrones game? What would you want out of that? 1. There's definitely some bad to season 8, but personally I don't think it's nearly as bad as everyone is saying. 2. Will we ever get a good Game of Thrones game? What would you want out of that? I don't know if we will. I feel like the time for that is gone. You know what I mean?
I don't want that.
I feel like the time for that is gone. Why would you not want it? It's a good universe.
It is a really good universe. I like consuming it without interacting with it. I don't want to be there directly affecting it. Like, being the one making the decisions and making the changes, I don't think I would want that.
I mean, it's so big of a universe that you don't really have to fuck with, like, the main kind of plot lines, you know? Like, you could do something in some far-off land as a knight.
Sure.
Going on an adventure.
Then is it really Game of Thrones then?
I mean, it could be some tie-ins, but it's not
a
like
Song of Ice and Fire, guys.
I mean, the Telltale game involved a new house that like was not part of the main story, and then like characters we knew interacted with them. But I feel like that level of like hands off. Well, I think there was a lot of problems. Telltale. Honestly, other than The Walking Dead, really hasn't nailed. There was a few that they did.
Tales from the Borderlands, yo. Game's great.
Also that Wolf Among
Us is supposed to be
I heard
good.
people really like that. Batman in season 1 was cool. I never actually played season 2.
I don't know. I had technical issues with Batman and didn't get very far.
That's a bummer.
I haven't played the Reigns Game of Thrones, but I played the other Reigns games, and well, at least one other Reigns game, and that's pretty cool. And I got Reigns Game of Thrones for Beckers, and she said she was enjoying it, so maybe that's the one. Reigns is a game where it basically plays like Tinder, where they'll give you a decision, and you swipe left for yes or right for no, or of like, hey, this guy has come and he accuses you of being a fake king, and then you go like, swipe right, murder him, swipe left, say it's not true, and
so
then
is it literally like a text-based adventure game, but only with like 2 choices each, and then it just goes down those paths?
Yeah, basically.
On each thing, it's like 2 choices.
Yeah, stuff will play out, and I mean, there's visuals. You'll see like characters and stuff, and what's really cool about Reigns, at least, you're supposed to all be like the same lineage. So when you die, if something happens, and you die, it'll show how long you lasted your reign, and then it'll go to the next person. And there's bigger storyline stuff that'll happen, based on your stuff. Like, the game starts that you were cursed or something, and you remember everything from your other lives, or I don't remember, but through while you're playing and making these decisions, you might progress the main story and figure out more about the curse and the demon and stuff, while trying to stay alive and be a good king.
Well, that sounds kind of neat. That's definitely not what I would want from a Game of Thrones game, but that sounds kind of neat.
I don't know how the Game of Thrones one works. It obviously exists in that universe and stuff, and you'd be interacting with the characters. I haven't fucked with that one, but that'd be cool.
But I don't know. Witcher style fucking RPG, dude. Let's get it. I think the time has passed, though. I don't think there's...
The
I think
prequel's coming. Oh, seriously, if that's what they could have done, that would be really cool. Have the prequel, and it could be like KOTOR. That would be
true.
That would have been the good way. Because that way you're distant enough, but still in that universe and cool stuff.
Yeah. But that is it for the questions.
Comments
Darrian,
and concerns.
Take us out of here, dude.
All right, let's wrap it up. Go to lastgeek.com for links to the podcast and all your favorite podcast services, including iTunes, Spotify, and Stitcher, as well as the video version on YouTube.
Which service do you use to listen to it, Darrian?
iTunes.
I use Pocket Casts. I don't actually listen to this show, but you know.
Wow.
I used to use Radio Public, but I got sick of it.
Yeah, we don't get any listens on Radio Public anymore. They send me an email of like, here's how many ad monies you've gotten, and it's always 0.
Aw. I tried. One of the ads just creeps me out so much, and I just can't.
Okay.
If you like the show, please subscribe, rate, and review it on iTunes and Stitcher. It helps us grow and become more powerful.
I almost forgot.
Other Last Geek stuff you should check out. There's a new Gamecast Corp episode from Friday.
I don't remember what it was, but the fact that you guys were talking about Game of Thrones.
Squid Fixer.
Oh yeah, Squid Fixer. That one was the first one that we did where we didn't end on the game we chose. But before that, we made Game of Glones, which is Game of Thrones but better, because because then people can't be
Game of Thrones except behind a paywall.
Well, no, everybody can watch the show, but if you want your person to win, you gotta give us money.
Last Geek also has a merch store. Go to lastgeek.com/store to check out stickers, t-shirts, and even leggings for your favorite Last Geek products. Like this podcast, I have the leggings, and they're very comfortable.
Also, we have, there's a product that we're working on that Teddy and Darrian know about, and they're excited about it. And then there's a product that they don't know about, but is involving them.
Oh, is that the secret that the chat prohibited us from knowing?
Yep.
Fuck you, Teddy.
Which I was also involved in. Maybe. You can't prove
Bryce
anything.
has thrown this in my face in person at dinner in front of his girlfriend. Him and Aaron were sitting across the table from me, and he was like, Hey, can I tell Darrian this thing yet? And she was like, no, what the fuck?
Also, I'm currently wearing my badge from. I'm wearing my badge from the E3 I went, and the lanyard says Nintendo DS. So it's apparently the first DS that was announced.
It's old school.
Were you 12?
I was in like 3rd grade at that moment.
I was like 19.
Damn.
How old are you?
Wow.
Love you too,
Doesn't
Darrian.
ask a man
The
that.
Nintendo DS was in 2006.
Okay.
That was 13 years ago.
I'm sorry.
Don't be. Nothing wrong with that. I don't really know why you're hanging out with us young whippersnappers, though. You know what I mean?
That's the DS Lite.
It's okay, Darrian. Some people are born at times earlier than us.
What the? I'm just questioning,
okay.
like, how. Okay, so the original Nintendo DS came out in 2004.
I got the original DS.
Let me
and
do
my
the
handle
math.
broke on it, and I never got a new one. I used the broken one forever. Because that's why they made the DS Lite, because everyone's original DS breaks in the same spot.
I never had an original.
I met like 2 other friends who had an original DS that were all broken in that spot. And I was like, yup, all right.
This is our reality now.
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
it makes sense that they made a more plastic one.
Yeah, it would have been about 2007, 2008 that I went.
Maybe they were just showing off certain games for the DS. not the actual thing.
Unless maybe they had a redesign or something. I don't know. I just know that I went and they had a lady standing behind the DS, and also my lanyards. When did the 3DS come out? Maybe they were announcing
that's what you said originally, but
yeah, that's what I thought, because it was like the timing
then
sounds
why would
better
you have
for
a
that.
Nintendo DS lanyard?
Maybe they announced. I bet you they, because the lanyard came with everything.
2011.
Could have been the DSi. Could have been the DS Lite. Not really, but probably
maybe.
the DSi.
I don't know. It might have been the 3DS.
DSi had that browser.
DSi was 2008.
Take pictures on the DSi, dude. I was a DSi.
I could probably look it up. I'll come back at a later time and tell you exactly which year I went to E3.
We'll be dying to know.
I bet.
Where can people find you, Teddy?
Oh, myspace.com/TeddyCharis, which is a lie, because
I'm gonna check right now.
that's not a thing. I was too late for that. You can find me on twitch.tv/TeddyCharis a lot of nights and maybe mornings throughout the rest of the summer. Back into Destiny 2. Don't let me stop, chat, because I've missed it. And maybe some ESO and definitely some Assassin's Creed Odyssey, because that game is awesome. And hopefully I can keep playing some Halo 5 duos with Grunt throughout the summer, because I love that. It's always a good time. And you can check me out there, and also twitter.com/TeddyChinaris, and also Instagram.com/TeddyChinaris. I posted a picture of a meal I made yesterday. It was real good. I made some salmon, some potatoes, and some asparagus. I was eating like a real healthy boy, and it tasted surprisingly good. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Where can people find you, Bryce?
You can
it your way.
Find me on Twitter at Last Geek, Instagram Last Geek Plays. I don't really post there much, but I always find it interesting when people follow me there, because either it's a random of like, oh, I'm just following random people to try and get them to follow me back, or it's because somebody heard my Instagram on one of my podcasts, and I'm like, oh, that's what, okay. Because somebody I saw somebody follow me, and I was like, oh, they're probably just trying to get follows. And then I later saw them go like, oh, awesome episode of Gamecast Corp. I was like, oh,
wow,
shit, that's why they did the thing.
That's cool.
Let's see, Twitter. I'm cheating off Darrian now, because Darrian has her things around twitch.tv/lastgeekplays, lastgeek.com for the links to all the podcasts, youtube.com/lastgeek. And just real quick, I want to point out that my background is a Dungeons and Dragons, not Game of Thrones.
Or ESO, it kind of looks like Somerset.
It's vaguely fantasy, but I did specifically Google Dungeons and Dragons because I've been playing the Dungeons and Dragons idle clicker. Darrian?
I'm on twitch.tv/dexterity. Also, Twitter, same name, DEXTERIDE.
Darrian, can you go back in time real quick and do it without typing?
I stopped
It's me.
typing when I
I'm
started
typing.
talking.
Oh, well, fine. I apologize. It seemed like your hands were down typing while talking.
I stopped and I put them in my lap.
Oh, that's must have been. Okay.
I got you in trouble. It's fine.
No.
Okay. Thanks for watching and listening. See you next time.
It's the worst ending to a podcast we've ever had.
I just want the audio to be so good. I want Aaron to be happy.
It's okay. It's all right.
It's going to be a jump cut.
To what? You didn't redo the thing, so.
I'm not gonna.
Okay.
Wow. What a show. Get me on Destiny. We gotta go.
You can
Get us out of here, Chewie.
You can follow me at twitch.tv/dexterity, twitter.com/dexterity.
Is that supposed to be her voice?
I don't know how to do Darren's voice. This is what I'm
You
doing.
can at least try a higher pitch.
I don't
want
want to do
You're
that
just
one.
throwing in a speech impediment that I don't
Yeah,
have.
that's all that you did there. Oh my god.
Thanks again to all our Patreon producers and everyone watching live. Catch you on the flippity flop.